The image is unforgettable. Kylian Mbappé walks past the FIFA World Cup trophy with tears hidden behind a calm expression. Just moments earlier, he had produced one of the greatest performances football had ever seen, a stunning hat-trick in the biggest match on earth. He gave France hope when hope seemed lost. Yet when the final whistle blew, the trophy belonged to someone else. So how can a player score 3 goals in a World Cup final and still leave heartbroken? The answer begins long before Qatar. It starts in Bondy, a suburb outside Paris, where a fearless young boy dreamed of becoming the best footballer in the world. His journey would turn him into a global superstar, but it would also teach him that greatness is measured by far more than medals. From an early age, Mbappé looked different. His father, Wilfried, coached football, while his mother, Faiza, had been a professional handball player. They taught him discipline before fame and hard work before success. Those lessons shaped everything. At AS Monaco, Mbappé shocked Europe with breathtaking speed and fearless finishing. Still a teenager, he helped the club win Ligue 1 and reach the Champions League semi-finals. Suddenly, every major club wanted him. Paris Saint-Germain eventually brought him home, making him the brightest young star in French football. Then came Russia 2018. Most 19-year-olds dream of playing in a World Cup. Mbappé was about to conquer one. The biggest moment arrived against Lionel Messi's Argentina. The football world expected Messi to steal the spotlight, but Mbappé had other plans. His explosive pace destroyed Argentina's defense. He won a crucial penalty and scored twice in a thrilling 4-3 victory that announced a new superstar to the world. France continued their march toward the final, and Mbappé scored once again against Croatia, becoming only the second teenager after Pelé to score in a World Cup final. At just 19 years old, he was already a world champion. For many players, that would have been the greatest achievement of a lifetime. For Mbappé, it became the beginning of even greater expectations. Every season, he was compared with Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Every goal was analyzed. Every defeat became a headline. The football world no longer asked whether he was talented. It asked whether he could become the next king of football. That question followed him into Qatar in 2022. France arrived as defending champions, but injuries weakened the squad before the tournament had even begun. Critics doubted whether they could even reach another final. Mbappé answered in the only way he knew. With goals. With confidence. With leadership. Match after match, he carried France through the tournament until only one opponent remained. Argentina. Lionel Messi. The other determined to prove that football's future had already arrived. Neither knew they were about to create a final that would be remembered forever. The Lusail Stadium was ready for history. More than 80,000 fans filled the stands, while billions watched around the world. For Lionel Messi, this was the final chance to complete his legacy. For Kylian Mbappé, it was the opportunity to defend France's world title and prove he could lead a generation. The match began exactly as Argentina had hoped. Messi opened the scoring from the penalty spot before Angel Di Maria doubled the lead with a brilliant finish. France looked completely overwhelmed. With less than 10 minutes remaining, the trophy seemed destined for Argentina. Then everything changed. Mbappé calmly converted a penalty to give France hope. Barely a minute later, he unleashed a spectacular volley that flew past Emiliano Martinez. In less than 2 minutes, he had turned despair into belief. The entire stadium came alive. Extra time pushed both teams beyond their limits. Every tackle, every pass, and every sprint carried the weight of history. Messi appeared to have won the World Cup after scoring again, and Argentina's fans were already celebrating. But Mbappé refused to surrender. When France won another penalty, he stepped forward without hesitation. Under unimaginable pressure, he completed a historic hat-trick, the first in a World Cup final since 1966. At just 23 years old, he had delivered one of the greatest individual performances football had ever witnessed. Yet football had one final twist. The World Cup would be decided by penalties. Mbappé confidently scored France's first penalty, but this time the result was no longer in his hands. Emiliano Martinez saved Kingsley Coman's effort, Aurelien Tchouameni missed the target, and Gonzalo Montiel converted the winning penalty for Argentina. The dream was over. French players collapsed onto the pitch. Argentina celebrated one of the greatest victories in football history. Mbappé stood in silence, knowing he had done almost everything possible. He had scored 3 goals in a World Cup final. He had dragged his team back from the edge of defeat. And still, he walked away without the trophy. But something remarkable happened after the celebrations ended. The football world wasn't talking only about the champions. It was talking about Mbappé. His courage. His determination. His refusal to give up when everything seemed lost. Some defeats become part of history because of the character they reveal. Qatar became one of those moments. At just 23, Mbappé had already won 1 World Cup, reached another final, and produced a performance that will be remembered for generations. Instead of ending his story, that heartbreaking night became the beginning of a new chapter. Because true legends are not defined only by the trophies they lift. They are defined by how they respond when their greatest dream slips away. But he left with something just as important. The respect of the entire football world, and the belief that his greatest chapter is still waiting to be written. The story may be over, but football's greatest legends are still waiting to be told. Subscribe now and never miss the next unforgettable football documentary.